Chapter 19 Chemical Coordination and Integration. So, we are starting the chapter Chemical Coordination and Integration. You have already learned that the neural system provides a point-to-point rapid coordination among organs. The neural coordination is fast but short-lived, as the nerve fiber do not innervate all cells of the body and the cellular function need to be continuously regulated. A special kind of coordination and integration has to be provided. This function is carried out by hormones. The neural system and the endocrine system jointly coordinate and regulate the physiological function in the body. The neural system and the endocrine system jointly coordinate and regulate the physiological functions in the body. Next is endocrine glands and hormones. Endocrine glands lack duct and are hence called ductless gland. Their secretion are called hormones. The classical definition of hormones as a chemical produced by endocrine glands and released into the blood and transported to a distantly located target organs has current scientific definition as follows. Hormones are non-nutrient chemicals which act as intercellular messengers and are produced in trace amounts. Hormones are non-nutrient chemicals which act as intercellular messengers and are produced in trace amount. Okay. The new definition covers a number of new molecules in addition to the hormones secreted by the organized endocrine glands. Invertebrates possesses very simple endocrine system with a few hormones, whereas a large number of chemicals act as hormones and provide coordination in the vertebrates. The human endocrine system is described here. Okay? The human endocrine system we are going to read. The endocrine glands and hormones producing diffused tissues cells located into the different part of our body constitute the endocrine system. The endocrine glands and hormones producing diffuse tissue cells located in different part of our body constitute the endocrine system. Pituitary, pineal, thyroid, adrenal, pancreas, parathyroid, thymus and gonads, testes in male and ovaries in female are the organized endocrine bodies in our body. In addition to this, some other organs like example gastrointestinal tract, liver, kidney, heart also produces hormones. A brief account of the structure and the function of all major endocrine glands and hypothalamus of the human body is given in the following section. We are going to read the hypothalamus. As you know, the hypothalamus is the basal part of the diencephalon, that is forebrain, and it regulates a wide spectrum of body functions. It contains several groups of neurosecretory cells called nuclei which produce hormones. These hormones regulate the synthesis and secretion of pituitary hormones. However, the hormones produced by the hypothalamus are of two types: the releasing hormone, which stimulates secretion of pituitary hormone, and the inhibiting hormone, which inhibits secretion of pituitary hormone. For example, a hypothalamic hormone called gonadotropin releasing hormone GnRH stimulates the pituitary synthesis and release of gonadotrophins. On the other hand, somatostatin from the hypothalamus inhibits the release of growth hormones from the pituitary. Somatostatin from the hypothalamus inhibit the release of growth hormones from the pituitary. These hormones originating in the hypothalamic neurons pass through axons and are released from their nerve ending. Understood? These hormones operating in the hypothalamic neurons pass through axon and are released from their nerve ending. These hormones reach the pituitary gland through a portal circulatory system and regulate the function of anterior pituitary. The posterior pituitary is under the direct neural regulation of hypothalamus. Posterior pituitary is under the direct control, is under the direct neural regulation. ठीक है? The posterior pituitary is under the direct neural regulation of the hypothalamus. Next we are going to read the pituitary gland. The pituitary gland is located in a bony cavity called sala turcica and is attached to the hypothalamus by a stalk. It is divided anatomically into an adenohypophysis and a neurohypophysis. Adenohypophysis consists of two portions, pars distalis and pars intermedia. Adenohypophysis consists of two portions, pars distalis and pars intermedia. धीरे धीरे डबल इसलिए पढ़ रहा हूँ ताकि आपके माइंड में सेट होता जाए, वरना स्पीड में पढ़ूंगा तो कुछ समझ में नहीं आएगा. ठीक है? The pars distalis line of the pituitary commonly called anterior pituitary. ठीक है? वापस से पढ़ रहा हूँ. Adenohypophysis consists of two portions, pars distalis and pars intermedia. The pars distalis lines of the pituitary, called anterior pituitary, produces growth hormones, prolactin, thyroid stimulating hormone, adenocorticotropic hormone, luteinizing hormone, and the follicle stimulating hormone (FSH). The pars distalis line of pituitary, called anterior pituitary, produces growth hormone, prolactin, thyroid stimulating hormone, adenocorticotropic hormone, luteinizing hormone, follicle stimulating hormone. शॉर्ट फॉर्म में बता देता हूँ, GH, PRL, TSH, ACTH, LH and FSH. Pars intermedia secretes only one hormone called melanocyte stimulating hormone MSH. However, in humans, the pars intermedia is almost merged with pars distalis. किसके साथ मर्ज होती है? pars distalis के साथ. Neurohypophysis, that is pars nervosa, also known as posterior pituitary, stores and releases two hormones called oxytocin and vasopressin. Neurohypophysis, pars nervosa, also known as posterior pituitary, store and release two hormones called oxytocin and vasopressin, which are actually synthesized by the hypothalamus and transported axonally to neurohypophysis. Synthesized by the hypothalamus. ठीक है? Our secretion of growth hormone stimulate abnormal growth of the body, leading to gigantism, and low secretion of growth hormone result in stunted growth, resulting in pituitary dwarfism. Excess secretion of growth hormone in adult, especially in middle age, can result in severe disfigurement, especially of face, called acromegaly. ठीक है? ग्रोथ हार्मोन का ज़्यादा सिक्रेट हो जाना अडल्ट एज मीन्स अडल्ट में, स्पेशली मिडिल एज में, उसको कहते हैं एक्रोमेली, which may lead to a serious complication and premature death if unchecked. The disease is hard to diagnose in early stages and often goes undetected for many years until changes in external features become noticeable. बाहर से दिखेंगे तभी वो पहचान में आएगी, अंदर से पता नहीं चलेगा क्या हो रहा है. Prolactin regulates the growth of the mammary gland and the formation of milk in them. Prolactin regulates the growth of mammary gland and formation of milk in them. TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone, stimulate the synthesis and secretion of thyroid hormone from the thyroid gland. Adrenocorticotropic hormone ACTH stimulate the synthesis and secretion of steroid hormones called glucocorticoids from the adrenal cortex. LH and FHH stimulate gonadal activity and hence are called gonadotrophins. Understood? LH and FSH stimulate gonadal activity and hence are called gonadotrophins. In males, LH stimulate the synthesis and secretion of hormones called androgens from the testes. In males, FSH and androgen regulate spermatogenesis. कौन कौन करता है? FSH and androgen regulate spermatogenesis in male. In male, LH stimulates synthesis and secretion of hormone called androgen from the testes. In female, the LH induces ovulation of fully mature follicle, that is Graafian follicle, and maintains the corpus luteum formed from the remnants of the Graafian follicles after ovulation. In female, LH induces ovulation of fully mature follicles, Graafian follicles, and maintains the corpus luteum formed from the remnants of the Graafian follicle after ovulation. FSH, that is follicle stimulating hormone, stimulate growth and development of the ovarian follicles in female. MSH, that is melanocyte stimulating hormone, acts on the melanocytes, that is melanin containing cells. Melanin containing cells and regulates pigmentation of the skin. MSH act on the melanocyte and regulate pigmentation of the skin. Melanocyte का मतलब melanin containing cells. Oxytocin acts on the smooth muscles of our body and stimulate their contraction. In females, it stimulates a vigorous contraction of uterus at the time of childbirth and milk ejection from the mammary gland. Oxytocin act on the smooth muscle of our body and stimulate their contraction. In female, it stimulates a vigorous contraction of uterus at the time of childbirth and milk ejaculation from the mammary gland. Vasopressin acts mainly at the kidney and stimulates resorption of water and electrolyte by the distal tubules. Vasopressin acts mainly at the kidney and stimulates resorption of water and electrolyte by the distal tubules and thereby reduces loss of water through urine, that is diuresis. Hence it is also called as antidiuretic hormone. ADH किसको कहते हैं? वासोप्रेसिन को. ठीक है, वासोप्रेसिन को क्या कहते हैं? ADH एक्ट करता है मेनली किडनी पे and stimulate reabsorption of water and electrolyte by the distal tubule and thereby reduce loss of water through urine, that is diuresis, and it is called ADH. An impairment affecting synthesis or release of ADH results in diminished ability of the kidney to conserve water, leading to water loss and dehydration. This condition is called diabetes insipidus. An impairment affecting synthesis or release of ADH, that is antidiuretic hormone, result in a diminished ability of the kidney to conserve water, leading to water loss and dehydration. This condition is known as diabetes insipidus. Results in a diminished ability of the kidney to conserve water, leading to water loss and dehydration. This condition is known as diabetes insipidus. हो गया माइंड में सेट. ठीक है. भूलोगे, कभी नहीं भूलोगे. So the next is the pineal gland. The pineal gland is located on the dorsal side of the forebrain. कौन सी साइड? डोर्सल साइड. ठीक है. Pineal gland is located on the dorsal side of the forebrain. Pineal secretes a hormone called melatonin. Melatonins play a very important role in the regulation of 24-hour diurnal rhythm of our body. Pineal secretes a hormone called melatonin. ठीक है. Melatonin plays a very important role in the regulation of 24-hour diurnal rhythm of our body. For example, it helps in maintaining the normal rhythms of sleep-wake cycle, body temperature. In addition, melatonin also influences metabolism, pigmentation, the menstrual cycle, as well as our defense capability. ठीक है. ऐसे लास्ट का वर्ड नहीं ध्यान रखोगे तो कुछ भी हो सकता है. ठीक है ना. In addition, melatonin also influences metabolism, pigmentation, menstrual cycle, as well as defense capability. ठीक है. सेट है. So the next is thyroid gland. The thyroid gland is composed of two lobes which are located on either side of the trachea. Both the lobes are interconnected with a thin flap of connective tissue called isthmus. Thin की जगह thick कर सकते हैं, but correct है thin. Correct है thin flap of connective tissue called isthmus. Clear? ठीक है. So the next is the thyroid gland is composed of follicles and stromal tissue. किससे composed होती है? Follicle and stromal tissue. The thyroid gland is composed of follicles and stromal tissues. Clear? Each of thyroid gland is composed of follicular cells enclosing a cavity. Each thyroid follicle is composed of follicular cells enclosing a cavity. These follicular cells synthesize two hormones. Tetraiodothyronine or thyroxine T4 and triiodothyronine, that is T3. Tetraiodothyronine और thyroxine जिसे T4 कहते हैं, triiodothyronine जिसे T3 कहते हैं. Clear? Iodine is essential for the normal rate of hormone synthesis in the thyroid. कौन है? Iodine. ठीक है. Deficiency of iodine in our diet results in hypothyroidism and enlargement of thyroid gland, commonly called goiter, and enlargement of the thyroid gland, commonly called goiter. Hypothyroidism during pregnancy causes defective development and maturation of the growing baby, leading to stunted growth, that is cretinism. Hypothyroidism during pregnancy causes defective development and maturation of the growing baby, leading to stunted growth, that is cretinism, mental retardation, low intelligence quotient, abnormal skin, deaf mutism, etc. क्या क्या कर सकता है? Hypothyroidism during pregnancy causes defective development and maturation of the growing baby, leading to the stunted growth, जिसे cretinism कहते हैं, और mental retardation, low intelligence quotient, abnormal skin, deaf mutism, etc. In adult women, hypothyroidism may cause menstrual cycle to become irregular due to the cancer of the thyroid gland or due to the development of nodules of the thyroid glands. The rate of synthesis and secretion of thyroid hormone is increased to abnormal high levels, leading to a condition called hyperthyroidism, which adversely affects the body physiology. Clear है? चलो आगे. Exophthalmic goiter is a form of hyperthyroidism. कौन सा? Exophthalmic goiter is a form of hyperthyroidism characterized by enlargement of the thyroid gland, protrusion of the eyeballs, increased basal metabolic rate and weight loss, also called Graves disease. ठीक है, कैरेक्टराइज होता है एक्सोथैलेमिक गोइटर, enlargement of the thyroid gland, protrusion of the eyeballs, increased basal metabolic rate and weight loss called Graves disease. ठीक है, clear? Thyroid hormone play an important role in the regulation of the basal metabolic rate. These hormones also support the process of red blood cell formation. These hormones also support the process of red blood cells formation. Thyroid hormones control the metabolism of carbohydrate, protein and fats. ठीक है, maintenance of water and electrolyte balance is also influenced by thyroid hormone. Maintenance of water and electrolyte balance is also influenced by thyroid hormone. Clear है? चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं. Thyroid gland also secretes a protein hormone called thyrocalcitonin, that is TCT, which regulate the blood calcium levels. Blood calcium levels को कौन रेगुलेट करता है? TCT, जिसे क्या कहते हैं? थायरोकैल्सिटोनिन. Next is parathyroid gland. In human, 4 parathyroid glands are present on the back side of the thyroid gland. 1 pair each in the 2 lobes of the thyroid gland. 1 pair each in the 2 lobes of the thyroid gland. The parathyroid gland secrete a peptide hormone called parathyroid. Parathyroid gland secrete करती है peptide hormone, parathyroid hormone. PTH. The secretion of parathyroid hormone is regulated by the circulating levels of calcium ion. कौन सा? Calcium ion. Parathyroid hormone increases the calcium level in the blood. Parathyroid hormone increases the calcium level in the blood. Parathyroid hormone acts on bones and stimulates the process of bone resorption, that is dissolution and demineralization. Clear? Parathyroid hormone also stimulates reabsorption of calcium by the renal tubules and increases calcium absorption from the digested food. Parathyroid hormone also stimulates reabsorption of calcium by the renal tubules and increases calcium absorption from the digested food. Clear है? ठीक है. It is thus clear that parathyroid hormone is a hypercalcemic hormone. कौन सा हार्मोन है? हाइपरकैल्सिमिक हार्मोन है. क्लियर है? अंडरस्टूड? दैट इज इट इंक्रीजेज द ब्लड कैल्शियम लेवल. क्या करता है? ब्लड कैल्शियम लेवल को इंक्रीज करता है. along with TCT, along with thyrocalcitonin, it plays a significant role in the calcium balance in the body. Along with TCT, it plays significant role in the calcium balance in the body. Understood? So the next is thymus. We are going to read now thymus. The thymus gland is a lobular structure located between lungs, behind the sternum, on the ventral side of the aorta. Location clear है? ठीक है. स्लो इसलिए पढ़ रहा हूँ ताकि माइंड में सेट हो जाए, इसलिए धीरे चल रहे हैं, वरना इतनी देर में पूरा चैप्टर निपट जाता. ठीक है, इसलिए स्लो चल रहे हैं. ठीक है, आ रहा है समझ में? ओके, सो लेट्स प्रोसीड फर्दर. द thymus gland is a lobular structure located between the lungs, behind the sternum, on the ventral side of the aorta. The thymus plays a major role in the development of the immune system. These glands secrete the peptide hormones called thymosins. Thymosins plays a major role in the differentiation of T lymphocyte, which provide cell-mediated immunity. Thymosins play a major role in the differentiation of T lymphocyte. कौन सा वाले? T lymphocyte. ऑप्शन में B lymphocyte भी आ सकता है, बट करेक्ट है T lymphocyte, which provide cell-mediated immunity, जिसको याद रख सकते हैं TC से. T lymphocyte cell-mediated. ठीक है. In addition, thymosin also promote production of antibodies to provide humoral immunity. Thymus is degenerated in all individuals, resulting in decreased production of thymosins. In addition, thymosins also promote production of antibodies to provide humoral immunity. ठीक है? Thymus is degenerated in all individuals, resulting in decreased production of thymosins. As a result, the immune response of all the persons become weak. ठीक है? The next gland is adrenal gland. Our body has one pair of adrenal glands, one at the anterior part of each kidney. ठीक है? Our body has one pair of adrenal glands, one at the anterior part of each kidney. Anterior की जगह posterior कर सकता है, बट करेक्ट है anterior. ठीक है? ऐसे क्वेश्चन बनते जा रहे हैं. The gland is composed of two types of tissues. The centrally located tissue is called adrenal medulla, and outside this lies the adrenal cortex. Centrally located tissue is called adrenal medulla, and outside this lies the adrenal cortex. Underproduction of hormones by the adrenal cortex alters carbohydrate metabolism, causing acute weakness and fatigue, leading to a disease called Addison's disease. Clear? Underproduction of hormones by the adrenal cortex alters carbohydrate metabolism, causing acute weakness and fatigue, leading to a disease called Addison's disease. Understood? ठीक है? कौन सा वाला? अंडर प्रोडक्शन ऑफ हॉर्मोन्स बाय द एड्रेनल कॉर्टेक्स अल्टर्स कार्बोहाइड्रेट मेटाबॉलिज्म, causing acute weakness and fatigue, leading to a disease called Addison's disease. The adrenal medulla secretes two hormones called adrenaline or epinephrine and noradrenaline or norepinephrine. These are commonly called catecholamines. Adrenaline and noradrenaline are rapidly secreted in response to stress of any kind and during emergency situation, and are called emergency hormones or hormones of fight or flight. These hormones increase alertness, pupillary dilation, piloerection, that is racing of hairs, रोंगटे खड़े हो जाना, sweating, etc. ठीक है? Both the hormones increase the heartbeat, strength of heart contraction and rate of respiration. दोनों हार्मोन क्या क्या करते हैं? हार्ट बीट को इंक्रीज करते हैं, स्ट्रेंथ ऑफ हार्ट कॉन्ट्रैक्शन एंड रेट ऑफ रेस्पिरेशन इनको इंक्रीज करते हैं. ठीक है? कैटेकोलेमाइन्स ऑल्सो स्टिमुलेट द ब्रेकडाउन ऑफ ग्लाइकोजन, रिजल्टिंग इन an increased concentration of glucose in blood. In addition, they also stimulate the breakdown of lipids and proteins. The adrenal cortex can be divided into three layers called zona reticularis, that is inner layer, zona fasciculata, that is middle layer, and zona glomerulosa, that is outer layer. GFR से याद रख सकते हो लेयर को. ग्लोमेरुलोसा सबसे बाहर की है, फैसिकुलेटा मिडिल की है, रेटिकुलरिस इनर. ठीक है? क्लियर है? सेट है माइंड में. द एड्रेनल कॉर्टेक्स सेक्रेट्स मेनी हार्मोन commonly called as corticoids. The corticoids which are involved in carbohydrate metabolism are called glucocorticoids. In our body, cortisol is the main glucocorticoid. Cortisol is the main glucocorticoid. Corticoids which regulate the balance of water and electrolyte in our body are called mineralocorticoids. Corticoids which regulate the balance of water and electrolytes in our body are called mineralocorticoids. Aldosterone is the main mineralocorticoid in our body. Cortisol है main glucocorticoid और एल्डोस्टेरोन है मेन मिनरल कॉर्टिकॉइड. क्लियर है? एल्डोस्टेरोन है मिनरल कॉर्टिकॉइड, कॉर्टिसोल है ग्लूकोकॉर्टिकॉइड. क्लियर है? सो द नेक्स्ट इज Glucocorticoid stimulate glucogenesis, lipolysis and proteolysis and inhibit cellular uptake and utilization of amino acids. Glucocorticoid stimulate gluconeogenesis, lipolysis and proteolysis. ठीक है, and inhibit cellular uptake and utilization of amino acids. Cortisol is also involved in maintaining the cardiovascular system as well as the kidney function. In maintaining the cardiovascular system as well as the kidney function. Glucocorticoids, particularly cortisol, produces anti-inflammatory reactions and suppresses the immune response. Cortisol stimulates the RBC production. Aldosterone act mainly at the renal tubules and stimulate the reabsorption of sodium and water and excretion of potassium and phosphate ions. Aldosterone acts mainly at the renal tubules and stimulates the reabsorption of sodium and water and excretion of potassium and phosphate ion. Cortisol stimulate RBC production. Aldosterone act mainly at the renal tubules and stimulate the reabsorption of sodium and water and excretion of potassium and phosphate ion. ठीक है. Thus, aldosterone helps in the maintenance of electrolytes, body fluid volume, osmotic pressure and blood pressure. किस किस में हेल्प करता है? Thus, aldosterone help in maintenance of electrolytes, body fluid volume, osmotic pressure and blood pressure. Small amounts of androgenic steroids are also secreted by the adrenal cortex, which play a role in the growth of axial hair, pubic hair and facial hair during puberty. ठीक है. Next is pancreas. Pancreas is a composite gland which acts as both exocrine and endocrine glands. Endocrine pancreas consists of isolates of Langerhans. There are about 1 to 2 million isolates of Langerhans in a normal human pancreas, representing only 1 to 2% of the pancreatic tissue. The two main types of cells in the isolate of Langerhans are called alpha cell and beta cell. Alpha cell and beta cell. The alpha cell secretes a hormone called glucagon, while the बीटा सेल सेक्रेट इंसुलिन, जिसको याद रख सकते हैं बंसुलिन. ठीक है, कैसे याद रख सकते हैं? बंसुलिन से. बीटा से इंसुलिन और अल्फा से ग्लूकोजन. ठीक है. ग्लूकोजन इज अ पेप्टाइड हार्मोन. ग्लूकाजन इज अ पेप्टाइड हार्मोन एंड प्लेज important role in maintaining the normal blood glucose level. Glucagon acts mainly on the liver cells, that is hepatocytes, and stimulate glycogenolysis, resulting in an increased blood sugar, that is hyperglycemia. कौन करता है? Glucagon acts mainly on the liver cell, hepatocytes, and stimulate glycogenolysis, resulting in an increased blood sugar, that is hyperglycemia. Clear? In addition, these hormones stimulate the process of gluconeogenesis, which also contributes to hyperglycemia. Glucagon reduces the cellular glucose uptake and utilization. Glucagon reduces the cellular glucose uptake and utilization. Thus, glucagon is hyperglycemic hormone. Glucagon क्या है? Hyperglycemic hormone. Glucagon reduces the cellular glucose uptake and utilization. Next we are reading insulin is a peptide hormone. Insulin is a peptide hormone which plays a major role in the regulation of glucose homeostasis. Insulin acts mainly on hepatocytes and adipocytes. Cells of adipose tissues is known as adipocytes and enhance cellular glucose uptake and utilization. Insulin acts mainly on hepatocytes. ठीक है. और ग्लूकाजन कहाँ करते हैं एक्ट? मेनली लीवर सेल हेपेटोसाइट्स, और इंसुलिन हेपेटोसाइट्स एंड एडिपोसाइट्स, ये दोनों पे करते हैं. और वो ग्लूकोजन बस हेपेटोसाइट्स पे करते हैं, ठीक है। इंसुलिन ज़्यादा एडवांस है। Insulin acts mainly on hepatocyte and adipocytes, cells of adipose tissues, and enhance cellular glucose uptake and utilization. As a result, there is a rapid movement of glucose from blood to hepatocytes and adipocytes, resulting in decreased blood glucose levels, that is hypoglycemia. Insulin also stimulates conversion of glucose to glycogen, that is glycogenesis, in the target cells. The glucose homeostasis in blood is thus maintained jointly by the two insulin and glucogens. Prolonged hyperglycemia leads to a complex disorder called diabetes mellitus, which is associated with the loss of glucose through urine and formation of harmful compounds known as ketone bodies. Diabetic patients are successfully treated with insulin therapy. Prolonged hyperglycemia leads to a complex disorder called diabetes mellitus. ठीक है, मीठा सुसु डायबिटीज मेलाइटिस। अब ये मैंने चाका तो नहीं है, कोई से लेक्चर में सुना था एक सर से, ठीक है, वो ऋषभ सर से सुना था, ठीक है, ट्रिक से। नेक्स्ट इज टेस्टिस। A pair of testes is present in the scrotal sac, that is outside abdomen of male individual. A pair of testes is present in the scrotal sac outside abdomen of male individuals. Testes perform dual function as primary sex organ as well as an endocrine gland. Testis is composed of seminiferous tubules and stromal or interstitial tissue. Testis is composed of seminiferous tubules and stromal or interstitial tissue. The Leydig cells or interstitial cells, which are present in the intertubular spaces, produce a group of hormones called androgens, mainly testosterone. ठीक है, Leydig cell or interstitial cell, which are present in the intertubular space, produce a group of hormones called androgen, mainly testosterone. Androgen regulate the development, maturation, and function of the male accessory sex organ, like epididymis, vas deferens, seminal vesicle, prostate gland, urethra, etc. Androgen regulate development, maturation, and function of male accessory sex organ, epididymis, vas deferens, seminal vesicle, prostate gland, urethra, etc. These hormones stimulate muscular growth of facial and axillary hair, aggressiveness, low pitch of voice, etc. Androgens play a major stimulatory role in the process of spermatogenesis, that is formation of spermatozoa. Androgen acts on the central nervous system. Androgen acts on the central neural system and influences the male sexual behavior, that is libido. Male sexual behavior is known as libido. कौन मेंटेन करता है? एंड्रोजन, ठीक है। This hormone produces anabolic, that is synthetic effect on protein and carbohydrate metabolism. Protein and carbohydrate metabolism. Next is ovary. Females have a pair of ovaries located in the abdomen. Females have a pair of ovaries located in the abdomen. लिबिडो का ख्याल आ रहा है क्या? Females have a pair of ovaries located in the abdomen. Ovary is the primary female sex organ, which produces one ovum during each menstrual cycle. In addition, ovary also produces two groups of steroid hormones called estrogen and progesterone. In addition, ovary also produces two groups of steroid hormones called estrogen and progesterone. ठीक है, ovary is composed of ovarian follicle and stromal tissue. Ovarian follicle and stromal tissue. The estrogen is synthesized and secreted mainly by the growing ovarian follicle. The estrogen is synthesized and secreted mainly by the growing ovarian follicle. After ovulation, the ruptured follicle is converted to a structure called corpus luteum, which secretes mainly progesterone. After ovulation, the ruptured follicle is converted to a structure called corpus luteum, which secretes mainly progesterone. Estrogen produces wide-ranging actions such as stimulation of growth and activities of female secondary sex organ. Estrogen produces wide-ranging actions such as stimulation of growth and activities of female secondary sex organ. Development of growing ovarian follicle, appearance of female secondary sex character, example high pitch of voice, etc. Mammary gland development. ठीक है, estrogen produces wide ranging actions such as stimulation of growth and activities of female secondary sex organ, development of growing ovarian follicle, appearance of female secondary sex character, that is example high pitch of voice, etc. Mammary gland development, ये सब काम करता है. ठीक है. एस्ट्रोजन ऑल्सो रेगुलेट फीमेल सेक्सुअल बिहेवियर. ठीक है. प्रोजेस्टेरॉन सपोर्ट्स प्रेगनेंसी. प्रोजेस्टेरॉन also acts on the mammary gland and stimulate the formation of alveoli, sac-like structure which store milk and milk secretion. Formation of alveoli and milk secretion कौन करता है? प्रोजेस्टेरॉन. Also act on mammary gland and secretes and stimulate the secretes नहीं है भैया, stimulate the formation of alveoli and milk secretion. ठीक है. alveoli क्या होती है बोलो क्या क्लियरली. चलो. So the next is hormones of heart, kidney and gastrointestinal tract. Now you know about the endocrine glands and their hormones. However, as mentioned earlier, hormones are also secreted by some tissues which are not endocrine glands. For example, the atrial wall of our heart secretes a very important peptide hormones called atrial natriuretic factor, that is ANF, which decreases blood pressure. ANF क्या करता है? blood pressure को decrease करता है. When blood pressure is increased, ANF is secreted, which cause dilation of the blood vessel. When the blood pressure is increased, ANF is secreted, which causes dilation of the blood vessels. This reduces the blood pressure. The juxtaglomerular cells of kidney produce a peptide hormone called erythropoietin. The juxtaglomerular cells of kidney produce a peptide hormone called erythropoietin, which secrete erythropoiesis, that is known as formation of RBC. ठीक है. Endocrine cells present in different parts of the gastrointestinal tract secrete four major peptide hormones, namely gastrin, secretin, cholecytokinin, and gastric inhibitory peptide. Gastrin, secretin, CCK, and GIP. Gastrin, secretin, cholecytokinin, and gastric inhibitory peptide. Gastrin acts on the gastric gland and stimulate the secretion of hydrochloric acid and pepsinogen. ठीक है. Secretin acts on the exocrine pancreas and stimulates secretion of water and bicarbonate ions. ठीक है. Gastrin acts on the gastric gland and stimulate the secretion of hydrochloric acid and pepsinogen. Secretin acts on the exocrine pancreas and stimulate secretion of water and bicarbonate ions. CCK, that is cholecytokinin, acts on both pancreas and gallbladder. CCK acts on both pancreas and gallbladder and stimulates the secretion of pancreatic enzyme and bile juice respectively. CCK acts on both pancreas और gallbladder दोनों पे एक्ट करता है. ठीक है. And stimulate the secretion of pancreatic juice from the pancreas and bile juice from the gallbladder respectively. ठीक है. Clear? Gastric inhibitory peptide inhibit gastric secretion and motility. Gastric inhibitory peptide inhibits gastric secretion and motility. क्या करता है? gastric secretion and motility. Clear? Several other non-endocrine tissues secretes hormone called growth factors. These factors are essential for the normal growth of tissues and their repairing regeneration. ठीक है? Growth factors, several other non-endocrine tissue, यहाँ पर चेंज करके एंडोक्राइन कर सकते हैं बट करेक्ट है. Several other non-endocrine tissues secretes hormone called growth factor. These factors are essential for the normal growth of tissues and their repairing and regeneration. Next is mechanism of hormone action. Mechanism of hormone action. Hormones produce their effect on the target tissue by binding to a specific protein called hormone receptor located in the target tissues only. Located in the target tissues only. Hormone receptors present on the cell membrane of the target cells are called membrane-bound receptors. Hormone receptors present on the cell membrane of the target cells are called membrane-bound receptors, and the receptor present inside the target cells are called intracellular receptors. Inside the target cell are called intracellular receptors. Mostly nuclear receptors present in the nucleus. ठीक है, इंट्रासेल्युलर रिसेप्टर्स में कौन आता है? मोस्टली न्यूक्लियर रिसेप्टर्स प्रेजेंट इन द न्यूक्लियस. बाइंडिंग ऑफ अ हार्मोन टू इट्स रिसेप्टर लीड्स टू ए formation of a hormone receptor complex. Leads to the formation of a hormone receptor complex. Each receptor is specific to one hormone only, and hence receptors are specific. ठीक है, each receptor is specific to one hormone only. ठीक है, एक ही हार्मोन के लिए स्पेसिफिक है, इसलिए receptors are specific. Hormone receptor complex formation leads to a certain biochemical changes in the target tissue. Target tissue metabolism and hence physiological function are regulated by hormones. Target tissue metabolism and physiological functions are regulated by hormones. Clear? On the basis of their chemical nature, hormones can be divided into groups. First is peptide, polypeptide और protein hormones. के एग्जाम्पल हैं इंसुलिन, ग्लूकाजोन, पिट्यूटरी हार्मोन्स, हाइपोथैलेमिक हार्मोन्स एक्सेट्रा. पिट्यूटरी के सारे हार्मोन आ गए, हाइपोथैलेमिक के सारे हार्मोन आ गए, इंसुलिन, ग्लूकाजोन सब किस में आ गए? पेप्टाइड, पॉलीपेप्टाइड और प्रोटीन हार्मोन. ठीक है. नेक्स्ट इज स्टेरॉइड्स. स्टेरॉइड्स में आते हैं, एग्जाम्पल है कॉर्टिसोल, टेस्टोस्टेरोन, एस्ट्राडेल एंड प्रोजेस्टेरोन. कौन कौन है? कॉर्टिसोल, टेस्टोस्टेरोन, एस्ट्राडेल एंड प्रोजेस्टेरोन. नेक्स्ट आयोडोथ्रायोनिन्स में कौन आता है? थायराइड हार्मोन्स. और नेक्स्ट अमीनो एसिड डेरिवेटिव्स में आते हैं एक ही, दैट इज एपिनेफ्रिन. एपिनेफ्रिन आता है अमीनो एसिड डेरिवेटिव्स में. हार्मोन विच इंटरेक्ट विद द मेम्ब्रेन बाउंड रिसेप्टर नॉर्मली डू नॉट एंटर द टारगेट सेल. यहाँ पे चेंज करके एंटर कर सकता है, एंटर द टारगेट सेल, बट करेक्ट है डू नॉट एंटर द टारगेट सेल बट जनरेट सेकंड मैसेंजर्स. एग्जाम्पल साइक्लिक AMP, IP3, calcium 2 positive etc. are example of second messengers which in turn regulate cellular metabolism. ठीक है. हार्मोन विच इंटरेक्ट विद द मेम्ब्रेन बाउंड रिसेप्टर नॉर्मली डू नॉट एंटर द टारगेट सेल बट जनरेट सेकंड मैसेंजर. एग्जाम्पल साइक्लिक AMP, IP3, calcium 2 positive etc. which in turn regulate cellular metabolism. Hormones which interact with the intracellular receptor, example steroid hormones, iodothyronins etc. comes in the intracellular receptors. Mostly regulate gene expression or chromosome function by the interaction of hormone receptor complex with a genome. Hormone which interact with the intracellular receptor. Intracellular receptors में आते हैं एग्जाम्पल स्टेरॉइड हार्मोन, आयोडोथायरोनिन्स एक्सेट्रा. ठीक है. mostly regulate gene expression or chromosome function by the interaction of the hormone receptor complex with the genome. ठीक है. Cumulative biochemical actions result in physiological and developmental effects. Cumulative biochemical actions result in physiological and developmental effects. ठीक है. Cumulative biochemical actions result in physiological and developmental effects. ठीक है. डायग्राम दिया हुआ है. पहला डायग्राम किसका दिया हुआ है? प्रोटीन हार्मोन का, जिसमें आते हैं एग्जांपल FSH जो रिसेप्टर पे आ रहा है, ओवरी मेम्ब्रेन दी हुई है. पहले रेस्पॉन्स 1 में आता है, फिर जनरेशन ऑफ सेकंड मैसेंजर करता है, वहाँ से साइक्लिक AMP और कैल्शियम, वहाँ से नेक्स्ट बायोकेमिकल रेस्पॉन्सेज, फिर नेक्स्ट फिजियोलॉजिकल रेस्पॉन्स. एग्जाम्पल ओवेरियन ग्रोथ. नेक्स्ट जो डायग्राम है स्टेरॉइड हार्मोन का है, जिसमें हार्मोन दिया हुआ है एस्ट्रोजन, वहाँ पे दी हुई है यूटेराइन सेल मेम्ब्रेन, तो वहाँ से अंदर गया है एस्ट्रोजन, हार्मोन रिसेप्टर कॉम्प्लेक्स बना, जीनोम दिया हुआ है, ठीक है, न्यूक्लियस, वहाँ से जीनोम mRNA से प्रोटीन बना, प्रोटीन से फिजियोलॉजिकल रेस्पॉन्स, टिश्यू ग्रोथ एंड डिफरेंशिएशन. ठीक है. नेक्स्ट वी आर गोइंग टू रीड समरी. देयर आर स्पेशल केमिकल विच act as hormone and provide chemical coordination, integration and regulation in the human body. These hormones regulate metabolism, growth and development of our organs, the endocrine glands or certain cells. The endocrine system is composed of hypothalamus, pituitary and pineal, thyroid, adrenal, pancreas, parathyroid and gonads, testes and ovary. The endocrine system is composed of hypothalamus, pituitary and pineal, thyroid, adrenal, pancreas, parathyroid, thymus and gonads, testes and ovaries. In addition to these, some other organs, example gastrointestinal tract, kidney, heart, etc. also produce hormones. The pituitary gland is divided into 3 major parts, which are called pars distalis, pars intermedia and pars nervosa. Pituitary 3 में डिवाइड होती है. ठीक है. Pars distalis produce 6 tropic hormone. Pars distalis कितने करता है? 6 ट्रॉपिक. पार्स के पीछे एस आ रहा है तो उससे याद रख सकते हो 6. डिस्टलिस के पीछे भी आ रहा है एस तो उससे याद रख सकते हो 6 ट्रॉपिक हार्मोन. ठीक है. पार्स इंटरमीडिया सेक्रेट्स ओनली 1 हार्मोन. क्या नाम है उसका? MSH नाम है उसका. MSH मेलानोसाइट स्टिमुलेटिंग हार्मोन. क्या मैंने सही पढ़ा है या गलत पढ़ा है? बताइए. पार्स इंटरमीडिया सेक्रेट्स ओनली 1 हार्मोन कॉल्ड मेलानोसाइट स्टिमुलेटिंग हार्मोन, दैट इज MSH. ठीक है. चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं. वाइल पार्स नर्वोसा न्यूरोहाइपोफाइसिस सेक्रेट्स ओनली 2 हार्मोन्स. ठीक है. क्या क्या नाम है उनके? उनके नाम बताओ. जो न्यूरोहाइपोफाइसिस से सेक्रेट होते हैं उनका है ऑक्सीटोसिन और वासोप्रेसिन. ठीक है. ऑक्सीटोसिन एंड वासोप्रेसिन. द पिट्यूटरी हार्मोन regulate the growth and development of somatic tissues and activity of peripheral endocrine glands. Pineal gland secretes melatonin. Pineal gland secretes melatonin, which play a very important role in the regulation of 24-hour diurnal rhythms of our body. Example, rhythm of sleep and state of being awake, body temperature, etc. ठीक है. ठीक है. The thyroid gland hormone play an important role in the regulation of basal metabolic rate, development and maturation of the central neural system. And the maturation of the central neural system, erythropoiesis, metabolism of carbohydrate, protein and fats, menstrual cycle. ठीक है. इनमें क्या करता है? Development and maturation of the central neural system. ठीक है. Thyroid gland hormone play an important role in regulation of basal metabolic rate, development and maturation of the central neural system, erythropoiesis, metabolism of carbohydrate, protein and fats, menstrual cycle. ठीक है. Another thyroid hormone called thyrocalcitonin regulates calcium level in our blood by decreasing it. Thyrocalcitonin decrease करता है. The parathyroid gland secrete parathyroid hormone PTH, which increases the blood calcium level. PTH increase करता है, TCT decrease करता है. Parathyroid secrete parathyroid hormone which increases the blood calcium level and plays a major role in calcium homeostasis. Thymus gland secretes thymocynes, which play a major role in the differentiation of T lymphocytes, which provide cell-mediated immunity. In addition, thymocynes also increase the production of antibodies to provide humoral immunity. The adrenal gland is composed of the centrally located adrenal medulla and the outer adrenal cortex. The adrenal medulla secretes epinephrine and norepinephrine. Adrenal medulla secretes epinephrine and norepinephrine. This hormone increases alertness, pupillary dilation, piloerection, sweating, heartbeat, strength of heart contraction, rate of respiration, glycogenolysis, lipolysis, proteolysis. ठीक है. The adrenal cortex secretes glucocorticoids and mineralocorticoids. Glucocorticoid stimulates gluconeogenesis, lipolysis, proteolysis, erythropoiesis, cardiovascular system, blood pressure and glomerular filtration rate, and inhibit inflammatory reaction by suppressing the immune response. Mineral corticoids regulate water and electrolyte contents of the body. The endocrine pancreas secrete glucagon and insulin. Glucagon stimulates glycogenolysis and gluconeogenesis, resulting in hyperglycemia. Glucagon stimulates glycogenolysis and gluconeogenesis. ठीक है, resulting in hyperglycemia. Insulin stimulates cellular glucose uptake and utilization and glycogenesis, resulting in hypoglycemia. Insulin deficiency or insulin resistance result in a disease called diabetes mellitus. The testes secrete androgens, which stimulate the development, maturation and function of the male accessory sex organ. Appearance of the male secondary sex character, spermatogenesis, male sexual behavior, anabolic pathways and erythropoiesis. The ovary secretes estrogen and progesterone. Estrogen stimulate growth and development of female accessory sex organ and secondary sex character. Progesterone play a major role in the maintenance of pregnancy as well as the mammary glands development and lactation. The atrial wall of the heart produces atrial natriuretic factor which decreases the blood pressure. ANF क्या करता है? Decrease करता है blood pressure को. Kidney produces erythropoietin which stimulates erythropoiesis. The gastrointestinal tract secretes gastrin, secretin, cholecystokinin and gastric inhibitory peptide. क्या करती है gastrointestinal tract? Gastrin, secretin, cholecystokinin and gastric inhibitory peptide. This hormone regulates the secretion of digestive juice and help in digestion. With this we completed the chapter. Thank you for hearing. ठीक है.